Hello TvAgro, my name is Salomon Kirchner. I am manager Calyx Plantas Exoticas, producers and traders of plants in general. Today I would like to tell you a little about one of the plants that we produce, which are the most beautiful, which are the bromeliads. Bromeliads are a type of plant that is found a lot in tropical areas of the world. Then our country is not an exception and has many of the species that can be found in bromeliads in the world. Ready, then we grow certain species of bromeliads. The bromeliad family is a very broad family. That means that we have different types of bromeliad species, in which one of the most prominent, which is not linked much with bromeliads but is the most recognized of all, is the famous pineapple. The nana is also a type of bromeliad. However, it is one of the few if not the only one which is edible. Most of the other bromeliads really is its use is ornamental, and I would like to show you a little bit of the different species of bromeliads that exist so you can decorate your homes with one of the most exotic plants. So we grow mostly 3 species and 4 species, which are the guzmanias, which we are going to see, the vrises, the tillandsia, and the echmea. We are going to see them one by one a little bit later. I am going to show you a little bit about the care of each one. So, one of the first I want to show you is the famous guzmania. The famous guzmania is already one of the most recognized bromeliads. You can see how its flower in the center of colors, in this case is yellow. We have red, orange, fuchsia, purple, let's say they have many including white. They have many kinds of colors that can decorate very well the homes with this type of guzmania. Medium ebro is already exactly and well it is the typical bromeliad. When one thinks of bromeliads, this is our favorite plant. The one we produce the most. It can be small, medium or bigger. It depends on the species and its growth, and we give it in the greenhouse many times. Or this bromeliad, as well as most of its bromeliads, one of its flowers once in a lifetime that is very peculiar in this world, and especially because this flower will last for months, even more, always depends on the location and the care that is given to it. All that, and the good thing about this plant is that it will last a long time. While in another type of plant it will not last so long, but it will give you more flowers consecutively. Ready, now we are going to go to the echmea. It is another type of another species of bromeliads. They are very similar to the guzmanias in everything. They are epiphytes, the way they are cared for are the same. However, they will have certain types of differences that make them differentiate between species. In this case, the leaves of this echmea, as you can see, seem a little bit worn. This is very nice, and you can even take a little bit off and you can see green. Then, it has like a kind of powdery powder outside that is very nice and has many. Not all echmea have many necessarily in this case. This is a facial echmea, one of the plants that most like for its green tones and also for its flower that is very pink. And as it grows, the fluorescence of the flowers grows some purple tones. Then this is another type of species of bromeliad that I would like to know. Now I am going to show you others that we cultivate, which are the brisas. The brisas in general in our cultivation are smaller than the guzmanias or the echmeas. However, there are some that are just as big. Then they are characterized by their flower that is more like a feather. instead of like a cone, and they grow a fluorescence here among their palate. In this case we have two types of rhizias. Of rhizias, as you can see, the foliage is a little more brindle, giving it a different ornamental value, while this one already has a shade of green, a little more tropical and more jungle. And finally the Tillandsia. Then the Tillandsia are also a type of bromeliads, and as you can see they are epiphytes, and you can make all kinds of arrangements with them. Unlike the others, in the Tillandsia there are many types of very small species. So as you can see with this horse that is made with ornamental value, the mane and the tail, with Tillandsia that can be glued without damaging not even the plant or anything like that. So let's say that the Tillandsia is a bromeliad that can be very versatile for different types of arrangements and designs with plants. Now I would like to tell a little bit about bromeliad care. Bromeliad care by species are very similar. Only the only different one is going to be the Tillandsia that I already mentioned quickly how its care is. Then for the bromeliads we need more or less, depending on its size, a glass with water or a glass and a half once a week in the cistern. It is very important what is the cistern and not the substrate where the water is poured, because the substrate really what it wants to do is to support this plant and the rice husk of the drainage, so it is much more has a function more to support the plant instead of nourishing it. Because the nutrient is going to enter its cistern, in nature it is collected from the water, and all this, and many times even small animals like toads or something get inside here for a habitat issue. The other thing to take into account is the illumination. The direct sun in most of the bromeliads, in our case the ones I am showing you, no, they can't stand it, and there are other species of bromeliads that can stand it and other species. However, we only handle indoor plants. In this case, none of the bromeliads and Tillandsias can be in direct sunlight because they will burn, and this can be seen through burns on their leaves and all that. If they get an hour or so it is fine, but if they start to get direct sunlight, it will be a problem. The issue of humidity also, as in Colombia, we have different climates. Let's say that the care that you are going to give them also has to adapt to the climate in which one is. It is different the care in a cold climate than in a hot climate, or in a humid climate to a non-humid climate, because the flower will ask for different water or something like that. In terms of fertilizers, we usually recommend fertilizing the bromeliad. We do use special fertilizers for them so that they can grow well and be like this, but in their adult stage we recommend not to give fertilizer. Remember that later the flower of the bromeliad will only last 1 year, and they are going to be the children that we can see here that will continue. Look at this, so beautiful. The bromeliad plant, as it grows and everything, will develop its children on its sides. In this case we can see a child here. This child is growing. We recommend removing it from the mother about when it is about a third of the size of the mother. So when it is a third of the size of the mother, we have a channel where you can see at the end I mentioned how to remove it so that the plant does not suffer, and neither the mother or the child. Well taken care of it can be taking 8 or 15 months depending on the care of location to do again, as we can see. Now many times what we do, We as this plant is slow growing, we in cultivation what we do is to accelerate its flowering. Why? To be able to have in the market always beautiful plants and constantly, because climate change and everything is changing us, say that all internal processes and our plants or are being delayed, are drying out or are having different types of adaptation to this new climate change. So to summarize then, the bromeliads are one of the plants of the tropics par excellence. One of the most exotic without any doubt. It is a very easy to maintain plant. Then take heart that really a plant changes a space, gives joy, gives you good energy. So having one of our so beautiful plants from Colombia, I suggest it for your homes, for the office, or for different entrances of buildings, for all these kinds of things, that the bromeliad sure gives very good color to the space and are very easy to maintain. So you do not have to be suffering so much. If you would like to know more about our beloved bromeliads, or would like to acquire one, we recommend you to enter our social networks on Facebook, Instagram, or our page www.calixplantas.com. There you can find many different species of what we saw today is all over Colombia. We are at home, and any help you want to know everything you can see on YouTube, or you can tell us and we will gladly teach you. Thank you very much.